then maybe get a Kubro that is a more bulky build, or maybe a whatever, because you have like different kind of builds body type wise for the Kubros, not necessarily for the Kvats. And there is a certain Kubro which is known as an Omega Kubro. It's not a real thing, it's more of just a community thing. A Omega Kubro is basically the biggest and the bulkiest Kubro with a very, very, very rare fur pattern on it called the Lotus pattern, which I actually have an Omega one. But even the Lotus pattern isn't exactly the rarest. But then again, maybe it is now, because I believe maybe one of the more rarer ones, fur pattern wise, was put in the marketplace. Maybe. Let me just go to the companions, Kubro and Kvats. So you have Kubro and Kvat armors that you can buy. The armors don't have any in-game effect, it's just cosmetic. This you can buy for like 1 credit, I think it is. No, 10,000 credits, and that will change the look of the helmet to what it looked like originally before they changed it and gave it a new look. And this is basically what the infested look like, because this is an infested pet, and an infested is basically an enemy type, which if you've played Halo, the infested is basically very, 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 very extremely similar to the Flood. And then so you have your armors, and then you have your fur patterns, and your gene masking kits or whatever. So this will change the look of your Kvat to match that of the Kvats that are known as, not even Kvats, but Hayekas, and the Hayekas are owned by the Grineer. And then you have all kinds of fur patterns, and all the gene masking kits or fur patterns always come with some sort of fur colors as well, which I own all of the patterns, gene masking kits, and fur patterns, just like I own all of the color palettes. You also have at one point for PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One or whatever, depending on what system you're playing on, every once in a while during the yearly annual anniversary, you will be able to buy your system specific color palette for credits, but all of these color palettes will cost platinum, and you will have only 1 row in this color palette, which I will go to show. So when you originally have the game, start the game, you will have color palette wise, you will just have this, and only the center row is what you will have. So you will only be able to work with these colors, unless you get more. You also have this one, Katir. This color palette will cost credits and ducats, because this is one that Barrow Katir sells. This is Barrow's last name, Katir, and so this is his specific color palette. You also have specific fur patterns for the Kvats and the Kubros that are also based off of Barrow Katir. You also have Kvat and Kubro armor as well. And there's a bunch of other stuff, including if I were to actually appearance-wise, attachments, which will be right here, accessories, Sugatras, which are basically like this little decoration at the end of your melee weapon normally. So we just preview that, and where is it? At the bottom of the hill, right down there. It's different for your other melees, so you have your hammers or your hammer axes, you have your shield and axes or whatever, you have your gauntlets, you have your great swords, you have your little Wolverine gauntlet things, you have your nakanas or katanas or whatever, you have your great swords or whatever, your two-handed katanas or whatever, you have your whips, which this one particularly, this is a syndicate faction one, and this one will, it will tell you right there, it will double your credit drop on kills. You will have, again, your axes, you will have your your little sticks or whatever. You have hibernation weapons. So this is a melee weapon that's also a gun. You have another one that is called the Redeemer. You have like dual axes or your dual scythes, your dual swords, your dual whatever. One a larger sword, one mini sword. Your cleavers. You will have like your little glaives, your gauntlets, your whatever and whatnot. You will have all these like weapons and weapon types, weapon variations. And then there's a Redeemer. There's another melee weapon that's also like a shotgun. And then you will also have, again, your great swords, your hammers, your whatever these are, your daggers, your dual daggers. You will have your sword whip thing that is pretty deadly. You will have your custom-made daggers, your custom-made melee weapons, your custom-made bow staffs, your bow staffs, your custom-made scythes, your just normal swords, your normal staffs or whatever. And then you will have your pistols, your beam weapons, or whatever, your shotgun-like secondaries, your kunai or whatever, and all these other things. So like beam weapons, like I said, and many others. You also have, obviously that's not all the secondaries, like still you have a lot of secondaries, just like you have a lot of weapons in general. You will have primaries, you will have shotguns, ARs, snipers, crossbows, your bows and arrows, rifles of all kinds, so like semi-automatic, burst, ones that will, like this, ones that will switch between the firing modes on the fly, so a semi-automatic, either a 3-round burst or a 4-round burst or whatever, and then your automatic. And then you will have, again, your sniper rifles, ARs, your BFGs, your like beam laser weapons, bow and arrows, snipers, ARs, shotguns, like the whole shebang, all here, all for you to pick and choose and have at your own leisure. You also have your own skins and stuff. The syndicates right here is basically like factions for Destiny, as another way of bringing it in. But as you will see, whatever faction you choose to align yourself with will also have a negative impact on the people that are slightly opposed or just straight up sheer enemies. So these two will negatively affect these two, but won't really have much of an effect on these guys. These guys are more like neutral, I guess. I leveled up these guys first, so I maxed these guys out to max rank of 5, and then I started working on these guys. These guys have a max negative rank of 2, and eventually, at one point during a mission, they will send people to come out and try and assassinate you or kill you, and they will drop stuff. So yeah, but basically each faction will have their own stuff that you want to get. So,
right. What can we help you with?
So their own sigils that will help you increase their rank or their ranking with it, or whatever. Your mods that are more particularly towards certain weapons, or towards like augment mods that will like augment the abilities of certain warframes and stuff. Obviously, not every syndicate will have all the augment mods. They will have certain particular augment mods. So you might not be able to find the augment mod for the warframe that you want or that you want to use. So you might not find it in this syndicate. You might find it in this syndicate or one of these, or if not, then these. So if you say rank up these, or do what I do and rank up these and then these, obviously I won't be able to rank up these anymore because it will have a negative effect on my other two right here. But if I balance it out, rank these guys up max first, and then we'll start working on these to rank these guys up, I can rank these guys up further, and then stop to then work up on getting these guys back up, and then I can eventually buy everything from these guys, and these guys. And then when I do that, I can have particular mods that these guys might not have. So if you have mods that these guys don't have, you can do in the LFG, or not even the LFG, you can do it in the trade chat, and you would say that you have this, you're looking to trade for this. So you have a mod that these guys have, but these guys don't. So you look at what you need, you look at what you can give, and then you get it, and you do what you have to do trade-wise to...
I was wrong about you. Anything you need, Tenno.
To get the mods that you're missing. Obviously, you want to complete the collection, and also all the syndicates. Every syndicate has this right here, a relic pack, and an Exilus adapter, or an Exilus weapon adapter. So this will be something that you throw on your weapons. Certain weapons like your primary and secondaries, not melee weapons. And then they will have Arcane weapon parts. So they will have weapon parts that you will have to buy up, as well as the weapon variants, and they will basically sort of tell you what they do or what they have beneficial, whatever that will benefit you. They also have stencils for your personal quarter area, as well as a Sindana, which is basically like a back bling, a cape, or whatever, a class item, or whatever the hell you want to call it, which is again just strictly cosmetic. And then you have capture scenes, which is basically just stuff where you can, take photos or make cool looking montage videos, and you have just decorations for your ship, as well as they will have their own specters and stuff, or have a gear that you can use to help you in missions and stuff, like the restores for health or whatever. Now, on the opposite side of this, the Conclave, this is basically PvP. I don't really know many people that will actually play the PvP, because the Warframes work differently in PvP than they do on the PvE or the normal base game. So you have a free-for-all, you have a 4v4 team deathmatch, a 4v4 like capture the flag, and then you will have like a Lenaro is more like a kind of like a soccer or rugby kind of type thing. So there's that. There's not really much going on here. There's not much of a reason that you would really want to. It also has its own loadouts that you have to set up, and then you can do like recruit conditioning and stuff, and public and clan only, or alliance only, or public. So alliances, by the way, are basically like a clan system where you have one clan that has decided to align itself with another clan. So therefore, they're like one clan becoming one bigger clan, made up of separate clan divisions or whatever. And then a clan is, well, a clan. And in a clan, you will have, right here in the communications tab, you will have your own clan tab, and this will be where you go to enter your clan dojo. The clan dojo is basically the home, the personal quarters, the personal place or space for your clan that you can decorate, make, and build up to whatever you want it to be at. The map layout for the dojo is, for the most part, probably always going to be different based off the people involved in the clan, depending on how they want the map layout to be. Because you can create the clan dojo from scratch, basically, allowing you to have the dojo be laid out to your specific demanding layout of however you want it to be. So if you want like the power system that will be used to help have everything be built, because your clan dojo does need power, so you need to have reactors, then you can have like the bottom floor, where you can have the bottom floor be your reactor floor, where you have all of your reactors. And then you have an upper floor, your normal, your base floor, or whatever else, and you can go up and down, and this and that. And you can basically make it as big as you want. Now, the Ghost Clan is the clan rank. So you can go, if I go to the navigation, you will have certain rankings. So we just go over here to the dojo, because you can go to the dojo, go to the dojo through the clan tab or through the navigation tab. And from here, you'll also see the featured clans. So you have a featured Ghost Clan, which is the smallest clan that you can have. Then you have your featured Shadow clan, which is one size higher, and then Storm, Mountain, and then the largest size clan that you can have, which is Shadow. And the more people you have in your clan, or the more bigger your clan is, the higher the cost is for researching things in your clan. So your clan will have particular weapons, warframes, arcwings, arcing weapons, and all the other stuff that you will need to research in order to make the blueprint for, to then in turn make, to then master, or just have outright in general. Like, so like your energy restores, your ciphers, your warframes, your arcwings, your whatever, including also your clan dojo paint, because you can also paint the interior or color the interior of your dojo as well. I will go into the dojo at some point, but going back to the clan dojo tab, because you also have alliance tab for chat as well as the clan tab for your chat, and then you have recruiting, trading, and also regional, but I have regional turned off. I will really quickly just go over the options menu. So the option menu is pretty complex in a certain way. It's like it's a large, but not really something I messed around with too much. For control wise, you want to keep it default on console at the very least, because I'm more comfortable with it that way. But if you feel like something isn't comfortable for you, you can change it up. But yeah, you can customize the controller, and you can just look at all that to see what does what. And that also goes for like just certain modes, like general, your ability, your Lunaro, your placement, your frame fighter, because frame fighter is basically like Mortal Kombat, because you can play a video game or video games inside of this video game, which I will show off later. Maybe not show off the actual gameplay of it, but just show off what you can do, kind of. And then you have Railjack, and then Shawzin, which is basically a guitar that you can play, so you can make music. Let me scale, first string, second string. Alright. And then you have gameplay, and then chat, and all other stuff. So gameplay will allow invites from, receive gifts from, because you can gift people stuff from the market. You can send people friend requests. You can then send them clan invites and stuff. There's this. You can also change the region too. Changing the region does affect. I think it does affect your ping, but it mainly is used where you will change your region, particularly because you want to change the region to get into a different region chat. So maybe you're talking to people in North America, and maybe you want to try and sell something, and it's not selling in North America. Well, then you can try switching over to, like, say, Europe or Africa or whatever, and you can try and sell the stuff that you have that you're trying to sell Prime-wise to a different region chat, or a different region's trade chat, which will then probably get you a fast result depending on how many people are in that chat. You have region chat, recruiting chat, and trade chat that you have. I turn my region chat off because region chat is pretty much just cancer. It's just a bunch of random bullshit, and is particularly just more so annoying. The only important chats that you want to have is just recruiting chat and trade chat. These two are the two important chats in the game. I have the profanity filter turned off. Chat message timestamps, I have that turned off. I don't really think it's really needed. Inline private messages, basically I believe this allows people to message you privately, which is also something they want to have turned on. Having this turned on will be how you get invites from people, and how you will communicate back and forth between other players that you aren't friends with, which will be something you will need. Active tab notifications only, I have that turned off. I don't know necessarily what that will do. Emojis as text, I have that turned off. I have the conversion, I have that turned on. And you have the emoji color, you can change it, so like white, purple, black, this, or whatever, blue, and you can just change it to whatever you feel you like better. And then you have your chat size, so you can have it medium, small, large. I just have mine as medium. You also have a ignore list, so you can manage who you are ignoring. So you can either ignore people, or you can just take them off it or whatever. in case you accidentally hit and go on a certain player. Then you have the interface, and as you will see, I have my own interface background that you won't have. You will probably have. Let me just show you. You will probably have the Vitruvian, and Vitruvian. So this is what it'll sound like for you and look like for you. I'm not sure if this will be a thing for you if you're a new player, because I've been playing for a while, so I'm not sure if you will have access to the legacy one. But I know I've been playing for quite a while, so I have access to it. I'm not sure if new players do. So, you probably will, though. Just chances are, you probably will. I bought the corporate stuff, as well as the stalker stuff, because it kind of looks pretty cool. I don't think I bought the Equinox background. I think that was like one of the default things that they gave you, along with the Legacy and the Vitruvian. So I'm going to go back to this, and then the theme, which the theme is basically like the color. So the color of like your menus and stuff is basically what the theme is. So high contrast, Vitruvian, the Stalker, Legacy, Corpus, or Equinox. Now this will mainly affect visually, again, your whole menu stuff, but more importantly your main menu, what it looks like. So I try and go with something that looks visually appealing at the main menu, because of the fact I don't want it to look too ugly like this, kind of, because it just looks eh. And the Stalker one would look like this real quick if I just go to it. Obviously there isn't a Stalker sound, but you could probably just go with Legacy, maybe, or Vitruvian. But either way, it's going to look like that for the most part. No, that's Legacy. I wanted Corpus. There we go. So you have that. Then you also have your item labels and all this other stuff. HUD-wise, the only real important thing that you want is the show players list. You want this to be turned on, because with that turned on, you can see the health and shields of your teammates. It'll be displayed on your screen, like right here underneath your health, and that way you will be able to see how much health and shields your teammates have, if they need to be picked up, if they are being revived, how much time they have left before they die, in which case they have to respawn themselves, and that will cost them affinity or XP, or they will not be able to respawn, and therefore they have to abort the mission and lose everything that they could have gotten. And it's important it's important to have the health bars and stuff here, especially if you're playing as a support Warframe, because with a support Warframe, you definitely want to see the health that the other players have. So if you're playing as like Trinity or Oberon, you know when is a good time to use your healing abilities to heal all the players in the team, so that way no one dies or goes down. Now, obviously, there are some enemy abilities that will be so powerful that they will probably instantly down any player, possibly, especially with the fact that at the highest level in the game, normally in a mission, it'll be around level 60, and that is doable for a max level Warframe at level 30 and level 30 weapons, because it's got a weird way of scaling, so it doesn't sound like it'll be fair, but it is. And so the damage and everything is based off of the mods that you have equipped. Is going to determine like how much damage you're doing to that enemy. Because if you have a good build, you'll be able to do a stupid crazy amount of damage, no matter how high the level of the enemy. But if you're in a long endurance run for an endless mission, the enemy could go from level 60 to possibly even level 100. I know with liches, if you rank up your lich to the max rank 5, all your enemies at a Kuva lich mission will be level 92. So therefore, they're going to be really powerful, and they're going to hurt a lot if they hit you. So you want powerful weapons, you want powerful builds, you want the right builds for the weapons that you're using to do the right amount of damage that will make it, at the very least, survivable. You will have your map that will rotate. You will have it that you can choose it to lock it, so that way the map does not rotate. Only that's, I don't know, that isn't something I'm used to, so I have it turned off. Then you have the prefer map overlay. I don't know why it's not having like a description for what it does. I'm pretty sure it should, but I don't know. Then you have your HUD scale. You use sniper scopes. So like, use sniper scopes is basically like what you would normally see from a sniper in a game. I believe you could turn that off, so that way it just aims down sights in a certain way, so that way you still can see your Warframe. You can still see in third person instead of switching from third person to first person just for a sniper. But again, I'm more used to this, so I have this on. Then you have your display, so your whole brightness, your whole field of view, your screen shake, your effects intensity, your glitter, your film grain, your all this. Your GPU particles, depth of field, motion blur, distortion, bloom intensity, color scheme, weapon effects. Then you have your audio, which will have your master volume, your music, your speech, your transmissions, which is basically like your radio for like people who are talking to you in game wise, not like other players. Other players, their volume is, I believe, connected to the speech volume right here. Then you have Ortis, sound effects, and then also transmissions. If you aren't using headphones, you can choose to have it go through your TV or your controller. Then you have your allies and Manticore volume. That you can just turn straight down. You don't really want to hear that because, for the most part, not everyone will have nice music to listen to. They will have a whole bunch of spam that will just be really, really annoying to hear. I might have just hit default on this or whatever and just turn my default sounds all the way up or whatever. I'm not sure, but yeah. Then you have your chat notification volume for like whatever. Enable hit marker sound. Enable hint transmissions, reverb, radio chatter in the orbiter. I will just save that. And the radio transmissions will actually come from this right here. So I can like, yeah. That is also connected to the Nightwave. The Nightwave is basically like the Battle Pass, except it's free, and is connected with challenges that will be cycled out daily and weekly. So you have your weekly challenges.
Shall we?
And your daily challenges. It'll tell you on the dailies how much time left before the reset, and weekly how much they reset. You have your items that you get from the Nightwave, so like weapon slots, ducats. No wait. Yeah, ducats, Nightwave currencies, Kuva, decorations, endo, stances, or emotes, I mean. Orokin reactors and catalysts, which will double the mod capacity on warframes and weapons. You have mods, you have affinity boosters, ephemeras, you will have Exilus adapters, you will have K-Drive customization stuff, you have ship customization stuff, you have item sculptures, Forma, Arcanes, Aura Forma, Warframe slots, Syndana's armor stuff, Umbral Forma, and so at max, you'll be able to scroll all the way down to see what it is, and no matter what, the rank up will always be 10,000 points. So I can just do this, and then maybe this, and that's me ranking up from rank 16 to 17. So that would be me getting from here to getting the Nexus adapter.
You know it.
And then going back to the options and going over to the audio. You have your operator voice, which you can turn that on and off. And then you have mute chat. You can mute the chat notifications. You can enable your voice and your voice receiving volume. And then, yeah, out of that, then you also have profile, which you will have codex, which is basically this right here. You will then have your profile, which will show your progress. So it'll show your stats, your profile, your mastery, what clan or alliance you're associated to. If you're in a clan and an alliance, it'll show again clan and then alliance underneath. You will have your good or evil meter, whatever, for your quest line. That's my Warframe, and that's my operator. If you don't have an operator yet, you will only see your Warframe. Your equipment, which will show off what you've maxed out, what you've maxed out, what you have, what you don't have, what percentage you've used that item. So I've used Excalibur for like 17.3% of my whole career, I guess, or whatever. These are like my most used items, even though I haven't used the Tigris Prime or the Accelerator Prime in like forever. I haven't used normal Excalibur in forever, but I've used Excalibur Umbra a lot. I've used my Play Kerpath a lot, not too much. It'll show the XP gain that it's got, how many kills and how many assists you've got with these weapons or Warframes, your accuracy, how much you've used the Sentient or your Kubro, your Arcwing, your Arcwing weapons, your Amp weapons or whatever. It'll show you your stats. So I have my stat summary, so all these like operation stuff. It'll show your general time played, so I'm at like 991 hours, 41 days, 7 hours, 6 minutes, and 54 seconds played. Gross income, how much credits I've obtained throughout that 900 plus hours. Your star chart progress, I've completed this whole star chart progress. Your star chart XP, missions completed, missions failed, missions quit, completion rate, quit rate, your ciphers solved, your ciphers failed, which is hacking, your average cipher time, your combat stat, and all that other stuff. All these stats, crazy amount of stats. Extra fastest obstacle court time, 29.46 seconds. Happy Zephyr score 18. Happy Zephyr and Wormius are 2 of the 3 games. So you have Wormius, Happy Zephyr. Happy Zephyr is basically like Flappy Bird. Wormius is like another OG game, not like Happy Flappy Bird, but whatever. And then you have Frame Fighter, which is basically like Mortal Kombat. And you have your syndicates, so you can see what syndicates you have maxed out, what syndicates you have leveled up, what syndicates you are hated by. You'll be able to see the daily syndicate cap. You will be able to see your conclave. You will be able to see yourself on Cimeris. You will be able to see your Cetus and your Cetus and your Fortuna ranking right here. And then you'll be able to see your trophies. So your trophies, your achievements, whatever. I'm only missing these 4, 8, 9. I'm only missing 9 trophies so far out of all of them. You'll be able to see the progress too if you have progress on it. So I've explored 15 out of 30 caves under Orb Valis. I've completed 2 out of 6 bindings within 60 minutes on Orb Valis. I've completed 42,802 meters on the K drive out of 1,000,000 and all this other stuff. Oh shoot, well, you can also see your wish list in your profile, so things from the marketplace that you've added to your wish list you can see here, which I've added a lot. I normally just have it as like a way of keeping tabs on what I want or what I might need. And then you have your syndicates again, then you have your leaderboards, your glyph, your intrinsics. Your intrinsics is tied to the railjack stuff. So your command, your tactical, your piloting, your gunnery, your engineering. The command hasn't come out yet, still, for whatever reason. Your glyphs is basically your profile picture. You get a couple of them for free, and then you have content creator ones, so like streamers or YouTubers that you can get. You can get through redeeming their codes. And then you have holiday ones and other stuff. And then you also have glyphs that look like this, where it's got like a dark blue or a light blue background with a certain Warframe. Those you get only from buying the Prime Access for Prime Warframes. So I bought the Prime Access for Rhino Prime, Nyx Prime. Who else did I buy? I'm just going all the way back up to the top to make sure. So Nyx, Rhino, Titania, and Wukong Prime. I bought the Prime Access for. Prime Access will run you about roughly, like I've probably said to some people, roughly around $60 to $80, depending, roughly. And then profile-wise, you have, if you have a railjack, this option will be here. If you have an operator, this option will be here. But if you don't have an operator or a railjack, these options will not be there. Then you have your quests, which your quests you can go through either that menu or in your codex. It's the first tab right here. You will see what quests you have, what questions you need to complete, and they will tell you what you have left to do. So quests like Sia's Vigil, A New Strange, the Limbo Theorem, Mask of the Revenant, Chains of Harrow, Hidden Messages, The Sacrifice, Sands of Inaros, Octavia's Anthem, The Glass Gambit, Jorda's Precept, Patient Zero, The Silver Grove. These quests will reward you with the blueprint and the ability to farm up the parts for these specific warframes. So Atlas, Mesa, Titania, Nidus, Octavia, Narus, Excalibur Umbra, Mirage, Harrow, Revenant, Chroma, Limbo, this one will be for, I can't remember what one is for. I think this one might be, I think the Vox Solaris might be for, no, I think the Sia's Vigil is for Gara, and then there's another one from here, because the Plains of Eidolon had a couple Warframes, which one being Revenant, another one being Gara, and then you also had Vox Solaris, which had another Warframe, I believe. No, actually it doesn't reward. Okay. And then this reward you do with, was I right with Gara? Yeah, Gara. So you have Warframes that you can get from quests, but mainly for the most part they are obtained through boss fights. And also the blueprints could be obtained normally from their quest if it's quest related, or through the marketplace. I'm not gonna go through quest wise with like doing them or anything. I'm not gonna go over them because I don't want to spoil anything. Then you also have a sub tab for this. I've already done this. I've already clicked on this. This is just a cutscene. This is a cutscene as well as this. These are basically cutscenes, really, just getting ready for the new war. So you have the old war and then the new war, and then there's also the war with him. But when it comes to quest-wise, story-wise, it goes then the Ta, the Second Dream, and the War Within, and then it goes Apostasy Prologue, and then Sacrifice, and then Rising Tide, even though Rising Tide isn't really specifically questline or story related, but it is what takes place in between the Sacrifice and the whole New War stuff. So once you've done the Nata quest, the Second Dream, the War Within, and then the Apostasy Prologue, and then the Sacrifice, and then you complete the Rising Tide, which basically Rising Tide is just you make your you make your railjack, because you can only make your railjack in a clan. but each person has their own railjack, and a railjack is a 4-person manned ship. So you take a squad in your railjack or someone else's railjack, depending on who wants to be the squad leader and who wants to call in their railjack, and then you take that railjack and go on railjack specific missions. So then after you complete the Rising Tide, and then it goes in order: the Chimera Prologue, Era, and then this, which I don't even really have a name for because it's not saying it's completed, but it is. But again, the Vor's Prize is one of the first quests you get done. The How of the Kubro is what unlocks the ability of getting a Kubro. And then you farm the Grenier. You farm... If I can find them real quick, I gotta go to the Grenier tab actually. You farm... Where are they? Alright, so we'll just go back to the top. It's because there's a Hayaka Master, and so you just want to search up Hayaka Master or whatever. So I'm going to just do that. So I normal Hayaka Master, not the Kuva version, but the Hayaka Master. This Grenier enemy right here, they will drop the Kavat Incubator Upgrade segment. And that is what allows you to be able to make the Kavats. Or at least get you started on it. So, there's that. You have your Lich history, which will show you what Liches you've killed. These is basically the factions for showing off what enemies you've fully scanned. The art gallery for just completing scans. Fragments, fragments are just, again, things you scan, which is basically part of Ordis. So it's all Ordis related. This will show off all the mods, which there's a lot of. A crazy stupid amount of. To which I don't even have, like, I maybe have close to half. Maybe close to half. But there's still a huge chunk I don't have. As you will see. There are also peculiar mods. Those aren't gonna benefit you in any way. It's just for the sake of just shits and giggles. Like peculiar growth. You shoot an enemy and their head grows. You shoot an enemy with a peculiar bloom and they start having flowers and leaves and stuff on them. They're not really gonna affect your damage in any way, but it's going to affect your damage negatively if you could have a damage mod instead of these. So, there's that. You also have the objects that you can scan, or objects that exist. So, all of the Itan sculptures, your stars, the things that will exist in the game world as a whole. The cellular array will be something that you can break in game, and it will drop Oricon cells. So if you see a cell array or a cellular array in a game, break it and then waypoint it for the other teammates in your game, because they will want to pick up the Oricon cells. You will also have the Kubro dens. This will spawn on missions on Earth, and that is where you will get your Kubro eggs. Now the Kubro dens only spawn on certain missions on Earth. They won't spawn in the Plains of Eidolon or on Cetus. So not in the open world for Earth, just in certain particular Earth missions. You also have fishes that will spawn. Oh, not spawn, but fishes that you will be able to scan. And then there's also Kyrias. These have like a story to them about the Grenier Queens. And by scanning these, which there's a lot of, and I still have to find them, which is annoying, but once you scan all the Kyrias, you will have the full story unlocked here that you can read if you want. And then you will also have a Kyria as a decoration on your orbiter, as well as a Kyria glyph profile thing that you can use as well. There's also a chunk of stuff I don't have scanned, but there's that. And then you have relics and arcanes. This is normally where you will go when a new Prime Warframe comes out, and you will be able to look through your relics, and you'll be able to just see what relics you need. And typically you want to go to the search tab or click on your left analog stick and then search up the new Prime Warframe that comes out. So let's say I want to search for Titania. I can do Titania in the search bar and get Titania's relics to pop up. So I can see what Titania relics I have, and you can see how rare or how common the Titania or the part is to drop from that relic. And based off of how rare it is or how common it is, depends on how much void traces I need to add into it. And obviously it'll also tell you where the relic drops. So if I were to just research Titania real quick, because I forgot to show you, if I were to click on ones I don't have, which are going to be darker like this, I can look at it and it will tell me these are the areas where these relics will drop. These are the missions. These are the planets. These are the star chart areas. It'll also tell me where they drop. So they drop from the drop sources will be from the relic packs, as well as these areas. And the relics are tradable, so you can trade them to other players. So if you want to buy some relics from other players, you can buy them using plat or whatever else that you might have, if other players are interested enough to buy them. So let's just go to a relic I have. So let's say I want the Limbo Prime chassis. That's the more rare drop, so I will need to invest some void traces in it. By default, it's intact, so it's right here. I don't need any void traces to get any of these 3 drops. But even if I don't use any void traces and I have an intact void relic, that does not mean I still can't get the rarest drops in this relic. I can still get them, and sometimes I get them more common than some of these drops as well. But it's just a better chances of you getting the more rare drops if I were to invest 100, which is the max amount of void traces you can spend on a relic, to fully increase the chances of you getting these, as well as increase the chances of getting this item by that much, while also decreasing the chances that you get these. So then that way it makes more sense that you increase it, so you can stop getting these common drops to get more of the more rare drops to show up in your relic opening. Alright, so now menu wise, you also have in the codex, you also have the Laverian, which is just story background stuff, I guess. Then you have training, which will train you in certain ways of the basics, like the movement, the advanced melee, the upgrading mods and the mods, the crafting of the foundry, the damage and the damage types, the sentience or the sentinels, the clans, the synthesis scanner, the index, and then you also have another tab for missions that will teach you about the different mission types. So assassination, capture, defense, excavation, exterminate, hijack, rescue, recovery, mobile defense, invasion, interception, hive sabotage, spy, survival, Cephalon capture, annihilation, team annihilation, and Lunaro, all being all the types of game modes, including the PvP game modes as well. They might not be able to do the best at explaining how they work, because what you want to do when it comes to learning the game is use YouTube and use the Warframe community to learn more about it. You also have, like I've already shown off, the marketplace. You use the category button right up here, the triangle for PlayStation, to search certain categories. So you can click on these certain category tabs. Never these last 3, because these will take you to the PlayStation Store, the Steam Store, or whatever for the premium stuff, like the Prime Access, the Prime Vaults, to get Platinum. Tenergen is the player-made stuff. Then you have your bundles, which you can do Warframe bundles, all the bundles, weapon bundles, cosmetics, miscellaneous. Then you have your companions, your Kubronet Kavat accessories, your Sentinel accessories, your equipment, and all the equipment stuff here, the colors, the slots, the components, the name crafts, the mod endo, gear, keys, drones, boosters, weapons, primary, secondary, melee, Arcwing, cosmetics. Then you have your Warframes, your deluxe skins, your deluxe skin bundles, your skins, your helmets, your Arcwings, your Syndanas, the armor sets, the animations, and then the feature tab, which is always going to be the first thing you see in the marketplace, which is this stuff right here, which will always cycle out depending on what's new. Now, when a Prime Warframe gets vaulted, it will eventually become unvaulted, and the unvaulted Prime Access stuff for those Prime Warframes will be cheaper than what they are normally. And in the feature tab, you'll have popular, so what people are buying the most of, and then the wish list, which is what you want the most, or what you have added to your wish list particularly. And in the weapons, there are some weapons that you can buy the blueprints for outright, and then there's also weapons that are missing from here. So the weapons that you don't see here are weapons that are in the Clan Dojo stuff. So that means in order to see any of that stuff, you gotta go to Clan Dojo. And because we are talking more so about the Clan Dojo now, I can actually take that opportunity to go to the Clan Dojo, but first, I do want to go back to the navigation to just show off more of the navigation stuff. So you have your whole invasions. You also have the relics, not relics, the syndicate missions. So stuff on Samaris and the other relic syndicates. These are where you go to rank up your syndicates a lot faster than normal, because as long as you have a syndicate sigil on, you will be able to get a syndicate XP or syndicate rep with that syndicate and the syndicate that is aligned with it. But these missions will help you rank up your syndicate faster, and in these missions we'll have syndicate related medals that you can pick up. Then you can go into the relays and then turn into the syndicate for more rep. Okay, so after all your syndicate stuff, you also have up here your relics. This is the relic missions that you do to open up the relics, and you have fissures that you have to collect. You have 10 fissures per relic that you have to get. There are endless missions, so endless missions will be like things like defense, excavation, or survival. And then you will have normal missions that will end. So with the endless missions, survival, defense, excavation, you can open up more than one relic. But with the normal missions, spy, rescue, exterminate, mobile defense, sabotage, you will only be able to open up one relic. And then on to the final part in the navigation, technically, but I'm going to just go over this real quick. This is the event tab, so this will be for where the events are, but that'll change depending on what event's going on. But finally, you will have this tab, the sortie.
Now we finish this business once and for all!
And so, just for another simpler way of describing what the sortie is, the sortie for Warframe is basically what the Nightfalls are for Destiny. Except with Warframe, you have 3 missions. So you do 3 parts, and once you complete the 3rd part, you will get your reward. Each time you complete one of these missions, though, you will have an increasing amount of credits, as well as other things that you would get from the mission. So you will increase your rewards as you complete these, and in the final mission, you will also get that final increased amount of credits, as well as your reward for completing the sortie. These are the sortie drops. So you have the most common, so the Itan Anasa sculpture, a ribbon mod. The more rare drops, 4,000 endo, 6,000 kuva, and a 3-day booster, which could be a credit or affinity or resource. And then you have the even more rare drops, a Warframe Excess adapter, a Forma, or an Orkan Catalyst, or Orkan Reactor blueprint, or the most rare of the drops, a Legendary Core. Now, what a Legendary Core is it will max out a single mod to its max level, completely ignoring the credit and endo cost. So it is such a desired item that people will spend upwards of 200 or more plat just to buy one Legendary Core. There was an event or whatever, there's something that happened where at one point they gave everyone a Legendary Core, so I was able to sell mine because I don't really use them. I don't have a need for them because I don't mind grinding and farming for the resources that I need to max out a mod. So there's that. And then in your navigation as well as your pause menu, you will see it right here. a Nightwave. So you will have Nightwave real quick, which I've already went
What's
into,
on your
and then you
mind,
have
dreamers?
Tune In, your credit offerings. This is where you spend the Nightwave credits to get Orokin Reactors, Orokin Catalysts, some Kuva in amounts of 10,000, so, some Nitane in amounts of 5, as well as parts for Vauban, because his parts will only drop from here, from this store, and also from daily alerts. You will also have cosmetics as in the way of helmets for your Warframes. You will have aura mods. You will have weapon skins. And then decoration. And then if you have a
That's all from
Kuvalich, there will be a Kuvalich symbol right here next to the Nightwave. And then in the Nightwave, if we just tune in real quick, we have... These are where we are. So I've ranked up to rank 6 in this Nightwave, which yeah, okay, we're just gonna go back.
You know about the infestation.
I did not mean to watch them. I wanted to see what the rewards were. But then you also have this. I didn't really take part in the first one. I felt like it was too grindy and I wasn't gonna make it to rank up. And the same thing for the intermission. I felt like I was gonna miss out. I tried a bit for here, but I just wasn't playing that much as well, so that kind of affected me. But I've managed to play a lot more recently since this one intermission. So we go here. So obviously there's the Wolf for Saturn 6 and the Emissary. Those are two different like story Nightwave stuff. The intermissions are like the break in between. So we just go back and we will see there isn't exactly a date as to when this will end. So it will end when it ends, when I guess. I can look it up to find out when it ends, but chances are I'm not going to do that. So there's that. Then you have the market, communication, which is your inbox and friend request stuff, navigation, so that way you can just get here faster. And then you have your equipment, which will be your arsenal, your foundry, your incubator, your void relic stuff, your mod stuff, your abilities to see what your abilities are for your Warframe, your specters to see what specters you have, your orbiter for your orbiter decorating and stuff, and then your inventory, which will allow you to see what you have, and you can sell stuff if you don't want it anymore. So like your Warframes, albeit why in the hell would you get rid of a Prime Warframe for 25,000 credits, not platinum, and even if it has an Orokin reactor installed onto it, that just seems stupid. As well as some other stuff. I'm not going to go too in depth with that one. So now we're going to go to the clan. So we have available sessions. You have the clan log. At the end of the clan, we have the clan statistics. Just you know all this stuff. This is also where you're gonna see the top tier Warframes for that clan. So the people that contribute the most or do the most in the clan. You have the clan summary. You would have the clan equipment. So I guess like the most used stuff from members in the clan. And then you will have the research for the clan. So I have 124 out of 210 stuff researched, all of which was basically, for the majority of it, solo, and it still takes me quite some time to get anything done, really. So now all that being said, there's also clan management. So you can do invite, you can edit the hierarchies of it. So you have your tiers, your alpha, and these aren't like the default role names or whatever for all this stuff. These are just ones that I've created names for. And then you also have the message of the day, which I can edit. And then you also have the alliance. And with all that out of the way, I'm just gonna jump into the clan to show it off real quick.